everyone for watching the first video. I was really surprised by the amount of people that did, and for the 3 people that actually subscribed to my channel, you're the best. I know it's just clicking a button, but it feels like so much more. I definitely wasn't expecting that at all, especially after the first video. And well, I mean, everyone knows you gotta work from the first video so to get it better. So today I'm gonna talk about my favorite books that I've ever read. Now, some of these will be like just ones that I love forever, and some of these books are just gonna be, at the time that I read them, they were just perfect for me. So, or like whatever their little genre is, that's my favorite book in that area. So yeah, I got a stack here. We're gonna go through them. Don't worry, there will be any spoilers. I won't tell you anything that you couldn't figure out by reading the back of the cover. First, I do want to say I'm going to post a few videos quickly on the channel, just so I feel like if someone's looking on a YouTube channel and they got like 4 or 5 videos already, then you can get on there and see if you really like them, figure out their personality, whether you like the content they're producing. It feels better, then I'll get into like the maybe once a week or twice a week or something like that. But I feel like at first I want to get a handful of videos out so you guys can decide if you want to stay around or not. My favorite books of all time. First, we're going to start here with Alice by Christina Henry. It's an absolutely wonderful book. If you're a big fan like Alice in Wonderland like I am, you'll definitely love it. I will warn you though, it's really, really creepy. That's probably why I like it, but there's also some really creepy aspects of it, as you can already tell from the cover here, but it's also really, really well written. I will say, trigger warnings wise, there is rape is involved. It's not like a rape scene, it's just an aspect of the character's past. So yeah, as you can tell, it's just by that, it's the big variation of what we're used to of Alice in Wonderland, but it also keeps the feeling of Alice in Wonderland. You feel like you're in this Wonderland, but it's more like a dystopian future society, our society, mixed with Wonderland. So yeah, Alice by Christina Henry, wonderful book. Next one here is A Study in Scarlet Woman by Sherry Thomas. And now this is the first book in the Lady Sherlock series. I'm a huge Sherlock fan. I love the books. I love the BBC TV series. I don't like the movies, sadly, but I love the TV series. Always been a big fan, and you get all that you get from Doyle with his stories, the classic Sherlock stories that you love, but you get it from the different twists with Sherlock being a woman and the difficulties that would have been, especially at the time, disguising herself and all that kind of, you can imagine how that works out and all that she has to jump through to figure that out. But yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. The main character, Charlotte, is Sherlock, is brilliant, and you really fall in love with her almost immediately. So yeah, another great book. Similar realm of the Alice book. This is strange, not as gruesome, not so many nightmares, but this is Strange Practice by Vivian Shaw. So I came across this because I love like Van Helsing, like that kind of horror thing, and this popped up. And she's Dr. Helsing, and she's a descendant of Van Helsing, but instead of fighting vampires, is their doctor. So vampire has a toothache, she takes care of it. And this all happens in the underground underneath London. They don't know about it, but something's going on. Something is afoot, you could say, with the above world attacking the monsters beneath. So yeah, it's a wonderful book. The main character is brilliant. I love this. The story is great. It keeps you entertained the whole time. You're not exactly sure where it's gonna go, and it's also another one in a series, I do believe. And I'm waiting for that other one, of course, because I haven't got it yet. But it's absolutely just one of those books you can sit down and knock it out, and you'll enjoy every aspect of it, just because of the different take on Van Helsing helping vampires and monsters and the clash that comes with that. But yeah, another great. I feel like any favorite book list isn't complete without Harry Potter. So I have the Chamber of Secrets here. I actually don't have the Sorcerer's Stone currently. I lost all the books from when I was a kid, I moved a lot. But I read all of these, like I said in my first video. I read the first 4 when I was in 3rd grade, and they're just, love the movies. Can't wait to go to Universal one day and see the park. But yeah, just absolutely wonderful movies. Nothing I really need to say about this. J.K. Rowling, everyone knows her, everyone knows this book more than they prefer to, probably. But for some reason, for my generation, just really connected with this. Another famous, very, very, very famous, especially popular right now, Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. Of course, Jane Austen has many other famous books. I've not read a ton of them. This was my introduction to Jane Austen, and I absolutely love it. She's just exceptionally witty, and she shows it, and she's blunt, and she doesn't care. And the main character, I love the idea she did with the little twist on the Gothic novel, and it's just really just a great novel that I feel like anyone could pick up and they would enjoy, and also has some great quotes. That's Jane Austen, and I just love her. She's no holding back with her. Then, as you saw on my shelf, tons and tons and tons of Anne Rice. Love Anne Rice. Honestly, of course, no surprise, I got another Anne Rice later. I guess you can guess which one that is. But Pandora might be my favorite. So, those who don't know, Anne Rice started with Interview with the Vampire. She created this super large, massive universe with all these characters, and occasionally she does one-offs for the characters just to give their backstory that doesn't involve Lestat, the main character of the series. So, this is Pandora. She's one of the oldest vampires. She has a connection with Marius, who you might know if you've read the other ones who Lestat has a connection with. She's one of the most powerful and also one of the more tragic figures, because fast forward to the future, she's kind of been roaming around for the past couple thousand years. The book starts in Rome when she's, because that's where she does her time. And yeah, she's very kind of sad, but also she's an amazing character, very strong, very independent, kicks ass. So yeah, just really, really great. And like I said, I like nonfiction as well. This is Charles Darwin's The Origin of Species. Have I read this cover to cover? Sadly not. Have I read quite a bit of it, and has it influenced me in more ways than I can ever imagine, especially growing up in the rural South? Yes. It's a great, great book that everyone should have and try to read. It's led me to so many other books involving evolution and that whole world, and I actually have a lot of those in my to-buy pile. A couple new ones that I'm looking at. I'm actually currently reading one called Humanism. It's how geography shaped us. So yeah, this is where it all started, and it was great to pick up when I was 15, 16 years old and kind of see the world in a different way than how I've been raised. Yeah, and we're back to Anne Rice. Interview with the Vampire. You'll see I love this edition. It's just absolutely beautiful. If I love a book, I'm going to buy a few editions, most likely a hardback. But this is what got it all started with Anne Rice. Interview with the Vampire. I love Lestat is actually not my favorite character. As I said earlier, I like Pandora. I like Louis, who's in here. He's probably my second favorite character. Lestat would probably come in third. But they're absolutely wonderful either way. I love how she tackles the what's it mean to be human, good versus evil, all those kinds of different aspects as you can get from here. And of course, it's just a vampire book, so you also get that as well. And set in New Orleans, which is somewhere I would like to visit. It just seemed all with like the old plantations, very creepy. Everyone knows the vibe that New Orleans gives off. Everything's haunted and stuff like that. So she picked the perfect place to set her story. And yeah, just absolutely love Anne Rice and Interview with the Vampire. I read this book when I was deeply dealing with mental health issues. So that's why I'm going to put a disclaimer on this one. I don't know if everyone should read this. It's very heart-wrenching. If you're dealing with mental health issues, it can be negative, it could be positive in my case, but people react to books differently. There's suicide and, like I said, other mental health issues, but the main character is just wonderful. She's so smart, she's so strong and independent, and the roller coaster that she takes is absolutely wonderful. And my favorite part is how it ends. I can tell you about that, but I just love how it ends. and everything about it. So yeah, just absolutely wonderful book. If you think you're up for it, please read it. Sylvia Plath, The Bell Jar is great. Like I said, well, if you're not in the best place mentally, be careful. If you feel like yourself going down further in the hole, maybe put it aside for a little while till things are a little better. Lord of the Rings, of course. So, I mean, it's just the fantasy nerd coming out. You can't not love Tolkien. Actually, I know a lot of people don't love him because he's too descriptive, has too many characters, and I can see it. It's absolutely wonderful books, so vivid with the imagery, storylines, characters. I can go on and on and on. Most of you know those stories. Please give it a try one day, even if you don't like it. If you don't want to start with the trilogy, it's too much for you, go with The Hobbit. It gives you everything you like in a little condensed version. And also, this is my wonderful illustrated edition that you can see got chewed up by my dog. But it is my favorite one. Absolutely beautiful edition for an illustrated book. The thing is, this is my first and only illustrated book, but illustrated edition, but I absolutely love it. My favorite books that I actually own. I did want to mention a couple other ones that I just don't have. So from my childhood, books that really stuck with me other than like Harry Potter, a book called M.T. Higgins the Great by Virginia Hamilton. Absolutely wonderful. It's about a boy who lives in Appalachia and just kind of, I don't know, just absolutely wonderful from my childhood. Another book from my childhood, Where the Red Fern Grows by Wilson Rawls. I think everyone probably knows this book, probably had to read it. It's so good, so sad. It's the reason I have a hound dog. That's all you really need to know. I mean, if you haven't read it, please go do, or also there's a movie. All of them are sad, so be prepared to be sad. Some other books that I've read, not childhood, kind of like high school, I think. The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. So this book is perfect if you want to learn about, that's by Rebecca Scott. So it has science involved. It's very sad, very, very sad. A lot of my books are very sad, but it's also wonderful in its own way. I'm not going to give anything away because it's a great book, but it's a story of Henrietta Lacks and how she shaped and changed the world of science. You have to go read it to figure out the rest for it. But absolutely wonderful book. And another book kind of in that same realm is Things Fall Apart. I feel like that's another book everyone knows, by Chinua Achebe. Sorry, I tried my best on that one. I tried to write it out, but yeah. So it's absolutely wonderful book. It's set in Africa during, and there's Christian missionaries that come over, and it's kind of a clash with the cultures and how culture can be erased and all of that kind of stuff. And it's absolutely wonderfully written book that everyone should probably read at least once in their lifetime. But yeah, so those are my favorite books. I hope everyone enjoys this video, and if you do, like it, subscribe, comment down below. I'll definitely do my best to comment back, and everyone that watched the first video, thank you. And like I said, leave me any feedback that you have about either my presenting style, books that you love throughout your life, if you've liked any of the books I've read, stuff like that. So yeah, thanks. Bye.